All right, guys. So today we're going to work on B4 on IXL, and that is the absolute value and talking about opposite integers. Absolute value is describing the distance from zero. So they're not asking us this question, but they're asking us right now what is the opposite of negative 10? Well, what's the absolute value of negative 10? Well, how far is negative 10 from zero? Negative 10 is 10 spots from zero. So if we're going to talk about it, we're going to say that when you're talking about absolute value, you do not have positive or negative. Your answer is distance. So it's neither positive nor negative. It is the distance. But on this question, they're asking about the opposite. The opposite means if I walk 10 places to the left, opposite would that be walking 10 places to the right. So if I have the opposite of negative 10 would be positive 10. What is the opposite of positive 9? Well, in the other direction from 0 would be negative 9. The negative sign you'll be able to find on your keyboard to the left of the equal sign. Kind of maybe call it the minus sign once in a while. All right, absolute value of negative 1. How far is negative 1 from the 0? Well, you go one step, right? So it's positive 1. Don't put a positive sign, don't put a negative sign ever on absolute values. All right, the absolute value sign are these lines that look like train tracks. Again, this is saying what is the absolute value of negative 3? That would be 3. What is the opposite of negative 47? That would be positive 47. What is the opposite of 88? The opposite being I need a negative because that was a positive. So negative 88. What is the absolute value of negative 1? Again, we already had this one, but they'll do it again. All right, that would be positive 1. What is the opposite of negative 61? Positive 61. What is the opposite of 32? Negative 32. What's the absolute value of negative 7? 7. What is the opposite of negative 33? 33. What is the opposite of 5? The absolute value of 5? Again, we're not looking for the opposite. We're looking how far is 5 from 0? How many steps did you have to take to get from 0 to 5? Well, you took 5 steps. So your answer is 5. What's the opposite of negative 28? Positive 28. What's the opposite of negative 39? Positive 39. What is the absolute value of negative 6? 6. How far from 0 is negative 6? He's 6. What is the absolute value of 1? How far is 1 from 0? He's 1. Don't get caught up in that opposite and you put a negative because you're not asking about the negative. Remember, these train tracks are talking about absolute value. What is the opposite of 27? Negative 27. What is the opposite of negative 29? 29. What is the opposite of negative 77? Positive 77. Challenge round's tricky. That would be 286. Absolute value 823. Absolute value of negative 702, 702. Absolute value of 865. Absolute value of negative 505. What is the absolute value of 1? 1. Don't get caught up in that. What is the opposite of 16? Negative 16, positive 16. What is the absolute value of 4? 4. Remember, you're not doing opposites. What is the absolute value of negative 583? 583. Now I'm going to say something to you before, because this is going to go to 100. If that negative sign is outside those bars right there, then the answer is negative, because it's not asking you about a negative 583. It's asking you what's the absolute value of 583, and that answer to the negative. But the negative sign is inside the bars, so he gets the absolute value rule. Okay, so don't get tricked on that. There we go. We're done with that one. Great job. Good work. Keep working. Thank you.